Now let's talk a little bit about what are some spiritual habits that we can use that can actually make us happier and can raise our happiness set point. A spiritual practice is really an on-purpose choice to practice being your best self. It's doing things that make you feel more aligned and connected to the larger whole. It's doing things that make you feel more calm, more centered, more positive, more loving, more expansive. It's seeing life as a reflection of your energy, that what you're putting out there is what you're getting back. And there's two ways that I want to talk to you about creating a little bit more of a spiritual practice. The first one is what I call using nature's Xanax. Okay, so everybody probably knows what Xanax is. I'm not opposed to it. It's not that, but there is a very natural version of Xanax that has been embedded into our bodies that we could really use on purpose. And nature's Xanax is the same as what I call belly breathing or diaphragmatic breath. And some of you guys have probably heard of belly breathing or diaphragmatic breath. Nature's Xanax is a free, non-toxic, no side effects, makes you feel expansive, opens your heart, reduces tension, always makes you feel better type of technique. So again, high ROI and low downside for learning how to really use belly breathing or diaphragmatic breath in your favor. So let me give you a quick sense of why you would need to do this. When we have stressful thoughts, we actually trigger a stress response in our physical body. That's normal. It's because we're animals and because we're primed to be able to fight or flight. So now when we have those negative thoughts, the way that our physical body responds is that it dumps adrenaline into our bloodstream. That is meant to help us to run or fight in order to be able to get away from danger. The problem is that you're having this adrenaline dumping into your bloodstream when you're driving a car or when you're in a meeting or when your child is taking 20 minutes to put their second shoe on. And so you are having a lot of adrenaline that's pooling in your bloodstream and you're not running and you're not fighting. So you're not getting rid of it. It's just sitting there. So this leads us to become more anxious, more depressed, more irritable, more fatigued because we have adrenaline in our bloodstream that we're not using. So you could get this adrenaline out in two ways. One is that you can actually go for a run. You can go do heavy exercise and that will reduce your adrenaline. The other thing that you could do is to do belly breathing. And so belly breathing is because the diaphragm is such a big muscle that when you engage the diaphragm, it sucks the adrenaline out of your bloodstream. So this is why I always say to people, if you're having anxiety, if you're having stress, if you're having negativity, you have to start with breathing because you need to get rid of the adrenaline. And when I say breathing, I mean 5 to 20 breaths at most. And I also mean that you can do just one sometimes and feel a huge impact of doing that belly breath. So I'm going to actually show you how to do belly breath properly so you could get the most out of it. I also want to let you know that I do have a video on my website that will show you how to do this. So I'm going to put this camera down a little bit. I'm hoping that you can see my belly here and also my chest. Because what I want you to do is I want you to you could do this along with me, put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly here. And I want you to take just a regular deep breath. If you could do this with me for just a moment, just take a regular deep breath. And just notice that when you just breathe regularly, just breathe normally, what part of your body actually moves. And it's your chest. We normally breathe with our chest, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. That's sort of normal everyday breathing. Now, belly breathing, the breathing that actually really relaxes you, the breathing that calms you down, the nature's Xanax, engages your belly, your diaphragm. This is where we're breathing from, not here. So in order to do that, you would take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and you're going to send the breath down to your belly. So you go like this. And your belly is going to expand with that breath. And when you breathe out, your belly sinks back again towards your spine. So try that with me for a moment. And if it's hard for you to get, it took me like 2 weeks to get belly breathing. I find all my clients are able to get it in a session. I don't know why it felt so backwards to me. So if you're frustrated with yourself, don't worry. That happened to me too. So you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. And you're going to see if you can send it down to the balloon of your diaphragm. Allow that to expand and then breathe out through the mouth and let your belly sink back towards your spine. Now, why is this a technique that actually really helps people to raise their happiness set point and to be happier people, and also to reduce their anxiety and their depression? Stress happens throughout the day all the time for all of us. And we need to have access to a tool like this nature's Xanax to immediately soften our system, immediately create expansion, immediately make us feel more relaxed. In order to do that, all we need to do is just go. And once you become more familiar with belly breathing, you don't need to make a big show of it. You don't have to walk around the office like this. You could just be sitting in a meeting and your boss could say something demanding, and you might just go, and you take that nice deep breath into your belly, and now you've reduced your adrenaline and softened your system again, bringing you back into that calmer state. And if we can learn how to do that more frequently, then we have access to something that's going to keep us calmer, less stressed at all times throughout the day. Now, my suggestion is that people wake up in the morning and do 5 to 20 belly breaths when they're laying in bed. It's actually one of the easiest places to do it anyway. And then from there, what they're going to do is they're reducing their stress right away at the beginning of the day. Plus, they're also developing the muscle of that skill so that they can use it throughout the day. And then people that have learned how to belly breathe like this, it's an absolute game changer for their life. And also, it's still taking, less than 5 to 10 minutes a day with a huge ROI.